California politicians have found a new way to force you out of your car and into mass transit. Coming up, we'll tell you about a crazy new law being proposed and what we're doing to fight back. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California, and California's liberal politicians hate you driving your car. They've made it quite clear that cars are evil. They're the work of the devil. They even say that freeways are racist. Now, they don't like cars for two reasons. Number one, they are worried about climate change. Although electric vehicles, they still don't like because of the second reason. California politicians think that you ought to be walking or biking or using transit, government-run transportation, and of course, paying the government for the privilege. This is all their insane mindset of making your life less convenient and less enjoyable. So what is the latest attack on cars? They already have raised the car tax. They've already raised the gas tax. They've already choked our freeways of any sort of improvements or expansion, so you sit in traffic. No. The latest is they literally want to have a permanent backseat driver inside your car to annoy you at every turn. It comes in the form of this crazy bill from State Senator Scott Wiener. Here's Politico's story on it. Shut up and drive under the speed limit. And let me describe this bill. It's Senate bill. Got the number here. 961. Senate Bill 961 for you that want to pull up the actual legislative file. State Senator Scott Wiener wants to legalize psychedelic drugs for therapy, rein in artificial intelligent models, and force cities to allow more apartment buildings along the coast. In other words, he's batshit crazy. But his legislation to stop drivers from speeding is causing the biggest backlash. Stop drivers from speeding? Well, we already have law enforcement for that. We've got tickets. But no, he's come up with a crazy idea here. He wants, in the name of the Nanny State, he wants to force all auto manufacturers to install a device that would prevent drivers from driving over 10 miles over the speed limit. Your car would literally stop. You wouldn't be able to drive your car faster than 10 miles over the posted speed limit. Taking all freedom, all control away from you. And I know you're saying, well, Carl, people shouldn't be going faster than that. Really? Okay. I mean, there are a lot of people who drive flow of traffic, and sometimes that's more than 10 miles over the speed limit. Again, you don't like the speed limit argument. I get it. You shouldn't be, driving erratically. I get it. But sometimes if you're driving too slowly, that can cause an accident. And if your car suddenly brakes and is acting in contrast to what you're trying to get it to do, that also could be dangerous and cause an accident. So people didn't like that. Okay. So that's what he wants. He wants a device that will slow your car down, like stop your car and force it under the speed limit. So instead, what he's decided to do is put a backseat driver device in your car. So he's amended his bill, Senate Bill 961, to take out the device to stop your car or slow it down. And now it would be equipped, your car would be forced to be equipped with visual and audio signals to alert drivers when they've exceeded the speed limit. Half of all new cars in California in 2029 would have to have this device. All new cars in California would have to have the device by 2032. Now, this device, think about it, visual and audio signals. It's like your mother-in-law in the back seat. You're driving too fast. Slow down. You're a reckless driver. Slow down. Again, they need to, you know what? If we're going to do this, if we're going to be forced to do this, then Scott Wiener needs to basically own the nagging Nanny State voice that will be over this device in your car. I mean, this is I'll tell you what it's all about. This nanny, nagging voice in your car is all going to be about making driving less enjoyable. That's what this is about, really. This is about making driving less enjoyable. This is about the same philosophy of raising your car tax, raising your gas tax to make it more expensive, to force you out of your vehicle, forcing you to sit in congestion, okay? Because they don't care about your commute. They don't care about how many hours you sit in traffic. They think that more traffic is good because it forces you out of your car. These people have actually said the mileage tax that we've been fighting at Reform California is about forcing drivers out of their car. So why not just go after people's pocketbooks, go after their peace of mind by having this device nagging at you? And then what are these visual signals? What is it? Flashing lights, strobe lights, maybe? It's insane. This bill ought to be killed on arrival. But no, this is a liberal legislature, and they probably are going to pass it. Now, mind you, they already have several laws that are going to be Nanny State on how you drive. Just January 1st, 6 California cities under a new state law are now the pilot projects for speed cameras. You know, those turning cameras, red light cameras, which the private sector basically fleeced drivers over, multi-$100 fines. Private sector vendors were getting rich off of issuing these tickets. They were nuisance tickets. Well, now 6 California cities this year are part of a pilot project. LA, Glendale, Long Beach, San Francisco, San Jose, and Oakland are all part of the pilot project for speed cameras. And you will be mailed a ticket based upon you breaking the speed limit. And it could be up to $500. Could be up to $500. And that's on the first offense. By the way, the increase penalties for repeat offenders. Just absolutely insane. Again, I'm not for reckless driving, but I think government has already posted the speed limits, and they already have police enforcement. This is just about a revenue grab and just making driving completely painful and unenjoyable. Update on that bill that we talked about in a previous podcast. Assemblymember Vince Fong from Central Valley, a Republican, has introduced a bill banning the use of NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, in the legislative process by lobbyists and trade groups and unions and other special interests that are trying to advance legislation. This is all in the wake of the Panera Bread scandal with Governor Gavin Newsom, where a billionaire owner of Panera stores was able to get a sweetheart special exemption from the minimum wage increase for fast food restaurants. And then when it was discovered, everyone said, well, we can't talk about how that got in the bill because we all are subject to NDAs. And people are like, excuse me, this is a government law. This is a public process, right? Transparency. Well, that's the sick and corrupt and broken way the Sacramento swamp operates. And I give great credit to Assemblymember Vince Fong for putting forth a law that says that if you're a special interest group, if you are promoting legislation, that you cannot have a non-disclosure agreement about the details, about who said what to whom, who was lobbied, who was solicited, how language got drafted, that people should be able to reveal that when asked. Well, the Chamber of Commerce in California sent a very nasty, snarky letter to Vince Fong saying that he's grandstanding on this bill. That NDAs are good for the legislative process. Oh boy, guys, when you're wrong, you are so wrong. And no, Vince Fong is not grandstanding on this bill. This is a common sense transparency bill that should be passed immediately. It should. The idea of an NDA in the public process of legislation is just so offensive, because this is the people's business, and we have a right to know who's promoting, who's suggesting, who's drafting various provisions, sweetheart exemptions. Thankfully, our friends at the Business Roundtable, California Business Roundtable, the California Business Properties Association, and the National Federation of Independent Businesses, which represents a small business constituency, have sent a letter saying they don't agree with the Chamber of Commerce of California, that they agree with Vince Fong. And I say, bravo. This bill needs to pass. And the idea that we even have to pass a bill banning non-disclosure agreements in public legislative processes is just insane. We're number one. You can hear the chants of we're number one, right? But not for a good reason. California is number one at what? Well, we just became number one at illegal immigration, los ilegales. The U.S. Customs and Border Patrol chief for the San Diego sector, Agent Patricia McGurk Daniel, went to Twitter to basically reveal that San Diego is now number one. California is now number one for illegal apprehensions of illegal immigrants. San Diego last week saw nearly 9,000 people, 8,959 people illegally crossing the border that were apprehended. That surpassed by a massive percentage the previous top crossing spot in Tucson, Arizona, which was 2,400 apprehensions. The numbers then went up to 9,513 people. We're seeing almost 10,000 people a week apprehended in the San Diego sector alone, crossing the border illegally. And now you have to wonder how many of them got away, how many of them are not apprehended. And that's the part of the problem that should make you irate, is that our border is completely open in California because Governor Greg Abbott in Texas, they're doing the right thing in supporting Border Patrol and demanding a secure border and actually using state resources to facilitate that. When you squeeze the air in the balloon, it comes over to California, and that's where the illegal crossings are now happening in record numbers here. We've had over 125,000 people released onto the streets of San Diego who are illegal immigrants since September. In the last 6 months, 125,000 people released onto our streets. Bye. Go wherever you want to go. It is absolutely insane. At Reform California, we bring you these stories every day, that which the liberal media refuses to focus on or cover, because we believe you have a right to know what's really going on, the problems in the state. Please support us by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, commenting in the section below so the algorithm can boost us. Also, go to our website, reformcalifornia.org, and sign up for our Friday newsletter updates. It's a free newsletter, and we give you the top stories that the liberal media won't tell you about, but that we think you should share with your friends and family and neighbors. Plus, chip in a contribution and help us fight to restore sanity in California and take back this once great state. Until next time, Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California. Help us break through the censorship of the liberal media. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and smash that notification button so you can stay up to date on all the developments in California news and politics. Also, please visit the website, reformcalifornia.org, for ongoing news coverage and to join one of our campaigns in the fight to take back our state. If you can, please sign up as a volunteer or chip in a contribution. This episode of Reform California with Carl DeMaio, paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly 2024.